So this is September. September is Suicide Prevention Month, and we got a very compelling and moving letter from a listener. I wanted to talk about this on the air just to make people aware, because even though it gets talked about, it does seem to get forgotten when it's not obviously Suicide Prevention Month. Vanessa Da Costa shared her story. She lost her brother who took his own life, and she is on the line. Vanessa, first of all, thank you for reaching out.
Thank you for having me.
Listen, I know it's not easy to have to think back to what happened, but the idea is if we make people aware of how someone is having a difficult time, be it a family member or a friend, that might be a first step in trying to deal with someone and prevent them from taking their life. So talk about your own situation with your own brother.
So my brother was a young chef, 30 years old, super loving, vivacious, had a really good social life, had a huge network of people around him. But the last few years with COVID, especially, I started to notice that he was feeling really isolated and started to really feel like he was a burden and that he didn't really have much to look forward to, given everything that was going on at the time. So we tried to get him as much support as we could. I tried to set him up with a mental health professional. Unfortunately, it took super, super long. So by the time he actually got to see somebody, I think it may have been a little bit late. Suicide has risen immensely. It's just from 2011 to 2022, it rose by 16%. So it's a really serious issue in society. We lose 800,000 people a year to suicide. And unfortunately, my brother was one of those people.
I don't want to overstate the case because I don't know. I don't have firsthand knowledge of this. You've just gone through this. I know you wrote that, or you just said now he was struggling. So you had a sense that he was going through a difficult time. At that point, your first thought is not that, oh, I better do something because, this is not going to end well. That first thought was what? To get help, to sit down, to talk to friends? What was it?
So the first thought was, okay, let me be a soft place, a soft space for him to come to talk to. I wanted him to feel comfortable with me. So he was my best friend. He was also my business partner. I saw him every day. So I could tell he was struggling and, he knew I was there for him. I spoke to my parents about it. I spoke to my husband about it. And I made it known to some of his closest friends that, I was a little worried. But of course, I just wanted to get him help, but I never, ever thought it would get to that. So it's really unfortunate that happened, but it often is the case because unfortunately in society, it's really difficult to get access to quality health care quickly. And I find that mental health needs are really unmet nowadays. And I think my brother just wasn't somebody who opened up easily either. So so many different factors contributed to this.
You mentioned the numbers, and I think for people who don't know, the numbers are staggering, right? When you consider how many people die by suicide every year, and yet you just mentioned that, in trying to help your brother, you sensed that something was off. It took you far too long to get any kind of medical help or any kind of psychological help.
Yeah, it's the 10th biggest cause of death worldwide. It's and I didn't know this until it happened to my brother, but men are 4 times more likely to die by suicide than women. So I think in society, we need to do a little better. We need to sort of, it's not something that we can combat easily because, I can't solve it, you can't solve it. But what I'm trying to say here is that I think we need a little bit more genuine human connection. People need to connect more in real life, not just online, and to really be open to hearing other people's stories, because I find sometimes it's easier to hear about what's going well, but we don't really want to talk about the hard things, So that would help. And obviously, I think the government needs to do better when it comes to accessing mental health help.
Listen, I know you're not a medical professional, and maybe it's not fair to ask you the question, but when you think, you're dealing with someone and you see that they have changed and taken a turn for the worse, obviously not the better, what's the suggestion to people if they're going through what you ended up going through before you lost your brother? Is there one?
There's there can be many signs. It is very difficult in the moment to see them sometimes. So I want people to really remember that. But I think the most important thing is to reach out, to make sure that we are all there for each other, support people. It takes a village. Check in on the person, encourage them to seek help. There are numbers and people can text 535-353. They can call 1-866-277-3553. for immediate help, and go online to suicide.ca.
Give that number again. First of all, if you wanted to text, what is that line?
So the text is 535-353, and to call, it's 1-866-277-3553. And what will happen is they will speak to you, and they will assess the situation and then connect you to somebody closest to you.
Okay.
In your region.
And I wonder, as you say that, though, if you were to reach out and do that and take that, be proactive that way, once you reach out, how long, or you're describing a situation where it took you so long to get help for your brother. If you do this now, can you expect immediate help? I mean, what's that going to do by just texting? What will that trigger?
Yes, so this is actually for crisis situations, so that'll trigger immediate help.
Okay.
In my case, I really didn't realize the gravity of the situation, so I went through the traditional methods. And so it took a bit longer, but that number is amazing. I have used it myself for grief counseling and for other people who are struggling immensely. Okay.
So again, as a message to get out, first of all, I would mention something else, because we've been talking about your brother and you recognizing the signs. It's been a huge roller coaster of a year for you as well. You had to reach out and get some help as well.
Yes, so I was really, really struggling. I hit a wall in the wintertime. I sold my business. I lost my brother. My whole identity shifted as a person. But I have no shame in saying that I didn't know how to navigate this. And so I took some time off work and I reached out, and I've been doing grief counseling. I was part of a support group for people who've lost people to suicide. And it's been really helpful. So I encourage anyone struggling out there to really seek help.
Yeah, there are grief support groups.
Yes. So the organization that helped me was le Centre de Prévention de Suicide de Montréal. They actually set me up with amazing counselors, and then they offered me a spot in one of the support groups that they were offering at the time. And I did that, and it really, really, it was an amazing experience and really healing.
I want to thank you again for reaching out, and again, by letting people know this is Suicide Prevention Month. We can do better. We need to do better. And obviously, I'd like the government to step up as well, as you pointed out, by providing those services in a better manner as well. But thank you for getting your story out and for making people aware. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. You were the voice of my childhood.
Well, thank you for that. I'm not that old, but I'll take that as a condiment.
I'm not that old. It was in the 90s.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Thanks.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Vanessa Da Costa. Yeah, it's Suicide Prevention Month. That text number again. So if you need immediate help, and as she said, that service is excellent. So if you're worried at all, it's 535-353. That's the text number, okay? If you need absolute help, if you're dealing with a crisis like that, with a family member going through a very, very difficult time, you don't know where to turn, you can at least try that.